Thank you to be here. So let me introduce myself. My name is Nathalie Leroy. I come from France, from the north of France. I said Ishaka. I belong to a CWIHE, that is Center for Apprenticeship. It is Vocational Training Center. And I am in charge of mobility of students, teachers, and administrative staff, and development of quality.
So good morning, my name is Kristina Sandström. I'm from University West, Sweden, and I would like to thank you for having us here. It's a real pleasure, and it has been such a good time being a part of this project. So for that, we are grateful that we were able to participate. I'm working as head of division as Department of Engineering, and I am also the director for an international satellite office for a world association called WAYS, which is promoting work-integrated learning and cooperative education. So from that's my background. So we will introduce some of the best practices we have found, realized that there is, because what we saw when we did this is that we need to understand that there are differences between our countries, and there is not one way of doing it. So therefore, we would like to show you what we are good at and what we have that is something for you to use.
Okay, so we are going to underline some topics. First, you understood already that we have... okay, so you understood already that there is a winning trio, we can say. There is, first of all, the student, the co-op student, or the dual student. And there is the university, of course, and there is, of course, the company. And so we have set some topics together. And so in order to deliver you some best practices, we are going to present you some organizational and pedagogical best practices, including pedagogy, mobility, and integrated career development. Okay. So we have set as first objective or first target that our dual model has a main objective, which is the construction and development of skills along the professional life. That means we have to give competencies to a student who will be able to enter a company as easiest as possible, who will be able to adapt himself along his personal and professional life. So you have a list of some topics, some best practices we have set. So the first one is, as for us, the experiential and problem-based learning. That means a real best practice we will deliver to you. And we have taken some examples. For example, you have in Italy, they make a problem based on real business priorities. Okay, it's not a problem created by the student. It is a problem that the student has really in its company. Okay, let me.
Yeah, and the second one is the portfolio and e-portfolio. When you do cooperative education, one of the most important thing is to teach and learn and make the students reflect upon what they're doing. And why are they doing that? They need to reflect both on action and inaction. That's one of the critical parts that makes it a pedagogical model. Otherwise, it would just be sandwiching work and education, which is not what we're aiming for. So, for example, in Spain, the students do have this monthly meeting minute diary, but it's a chance for the students to be able to see and understand what they're doing, and also be able to go back in time, because what's happening right here and now that you remember, but after a while you have moved forward, you have changed, And then you can go back and see both that you have developed, but also see the changes and the differences. So that's one reason.
Okay. So the third target, the third best practice in dual education will be professionalization in higher education. Okay, for example, we have taken the example of Spain in their Master of Informatics or Industrial Engineering, and also in France. We settled a sort we can call reflective sessions. That means the students are together, and there is one or various or many teachers, and the students present their project in the company and share the experience together. That means the reflective action is very important in dual training. That means you have not only to do the job in the company, but you have to reflect on the job you are doing. You have to reflect on your action. You have to reflect on the mind it is necessary to have to do the job. And we consider it's professionalization in higher education.
So then we're to the part that is also of most importance, and that is the mentoring, because we can't just let our students go out and do the job and not ever follow up on what they're doing. We both need mentors within the university, but also at the companies. So we need to ensure that the students is actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Otherwise, it will be not so fruitful for them. So in Italy, for example, the partners companies are supported by the dual study program management, and this is one way of having it included in the entire system. So the companies mentors and the mentors or tutors at the university needs to understand what both sides are doing. Because again, it's an educational model, and this is how to facilitate that and make sure that it actually is happening what we want to happen.
Absolutely. And afterwards, you can see train the company tutor. That means many often you have a tutor in company or a mentor, and he says, how can I manage to mentor the student? Do I have the tools, the adequate tools to mentor the student? So we consider the fact to train the company tutor is very important. That means to coach the company tutor in order to be sure that the competencies will be obtained, to be sure that the company is satisfied with the student, and also to be sure that the student feels at ease in the company, and to have a sort of, for the company tutor, a sort of reflective action also regarding the student. And for example, in Spain, we have taken the example of Spain, they invite meeting before the program starts, so they invite the company tutors and the university tutors. We are again in this winning trio, the student, the company tutor, and the institution tutor.
So, and on top of this, we also want to ensure that what's happening on the company is actually mentored the right way. So visiting the students when they are at the workplace is of most importance. And France and Spain is one example, but I would say most of us do this. I don't think there is any of us that do not visit the students. Because again, we have responsibility to ensure that what's happening at the companies actually is what we are what's supposed to be happening. So that's a big important thing that we need to stress. And it depends, I think the difference is between the countries, perhaps whom is visiting. It could be a faculty member, it could be a co-op coordinator, but there is always someone from each university that will visit the students when they're out. And that's also a possibility for the students to address if something is not perhaps working as it should. It's easier when you have a face-to-face meeting. So this is something we would like to stress, that please do that.
Okay. Yes, okay. We have underlined also the process of assessment, because regularly we have some questions. For example, when you want to open a dual program at the university, how can we manage the assessment? Will it be assessment from the university, or will it be double assessment with the company and with the university? Of course, there is a double assessment. That means the company is also training the student. Of course, we have the example in Germany. When we visited a company in Germany, the boss said to us, the student has not to work, he has only to be trained, he has to learn. So of course there is a double assessment, and it can be either on the format could be different. You can have a sort of oral examinations, and you can have written examinations, but both are assessed by the university and by the company.
And now, a thing that is close to my heart, the mobility of students. We live in a world that we actually need to see that we can't only stay in our own surrounding, in our own safe zone. We need to go out and see the world, and we need to understand that there are differences between us. And the best way of doing that is to meet other people. So the mobility, it could be both in the theoretical part, but also in the practical phase. Doesn't really matter where what, but we need to be able to make our students understand the value of going outside their safe zone. I will tell you a small story, just as an example. I had a student, we have a program running with a university in the US, Drexel University in Philadelphia. It's a good program. And I had a student, and I can tell you, the hours he spent in my office thinking, should I go, should I not go? Maybe my girlfriend would break up with me if I'm going. Maybe I should stay at home. Maybe, no, I don't think I should go. No, I think I stay here. I promise you, if I took him in a rowboat, it would have been so much faster and quicker to have him over. He finally went, and he had the best experience. So we need to understand that we need to help our students. We need to be there and engage us in make it possible for them to go, because if we don't show it, they will not do it by themselves. There are a few that will, but not everyone. So there can be different ways of doing it. It can be on an individual level, or it can be a collective if you go as a group. And what competences is needed? Well, it depends. It depends on where you're going. It depends on what you're going to do. But we need to see and understand that. So, for example, in France and in Spain, I think it's compulsory, isn't it? Yeah. The students have to do 10 weeks outside each country, which is a way of actually stressing that this is something that is important to the student and for their upcoming work life and for the lifelong learning, because that's what all this is about, the lifelong learning process. The education either start or stop when they enter the university. It's an ongoing activity that the students will have to understand that this is something you learn in different environments.
And the last process we mentioned is the process of matching students and companies. That's a big issue, of course. So how are you going to match students and companies? And so we realized there are two models we called push or pull. That means either the company recruits the students, it's the case in Germany, for example, or either the university recruits the students and afterward the students apply for a job in a company. In the case of Germany, the company recruits the students and push the students toward the university. So you can organize also speed dating in order that students and companies meet themselves, and it's called a speed dating. It's the case, for example, in France. I think it's the case in Spain also. And you have to find for a company the ideal student, and the student has to find the company he feels good in the company. So we consider it's a very important topic to be sure that the matching will be good, you know, will lead to a success, sorry, either for the company and also for the student. Yeah. Okay. I think. Okay. So perhaps you have questions either for Kristina or for me.
Or any of our.
Okay.
Yes, and Ishak as well. You can go up, please. Okay, Monica.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the presentation. Congratulations. I think it's a great project. One question. Do you train the trainers? I mean, because as far as I saw the examples, I didn't see training teachers, professors. That I am from the Bankia Foundation. We are working much with, you know, vocational education, though we are very interested also in this. And one of the main constraints are the teachers. So if you could explain further about this, could be nice. Thank you very much.
Yes, we have suggested as a recommendation, I think it was on your last slide, that we should train the trainers. That's part of it. It depends a little bit how you organized it between the university and all the stakeholders who's doing what. But yes, definitely train the trainers. Yep. Want to add something? No.
Yes, in France it's the same. We train the trainers, because otherwise they don't know how to manage. We have conferences or sessions in order to improve the what we say the fact to train and the fact to ensure the student that he is in the right way. Yeah.
I'm from Austria. I would like to answer from my point, because in our case we see it totally different. And that shows the importance of sharing internationally and the importance of knowing not every model is the same. So in our case, we try to keep, to tell everybody, university and company, to stay in their culture. So the more important we found is to have very clear definition of the roles. So the trainers in the company, the mentors, they have to know this is a university student and not a cheap worker. There is also the university watching me, what I do to the student. The same has to be true at the university. This is also an employee of a company. There is a company watching me, how am I teaching? And we found out this is the important decision. But then it is very helpful. And the third is you have to teach the student you are going to two different worlds, watch the world, take what you need for your development and leave what you don't need. And then it's not so important that we as university train the company trainers or the company trains the university teachers. It is a very, the unique experience of the student to be at the bank or wherever, how the bank is, and to be at the university, how the university is. And then comes what they also said, maybe the most important single thing is reflection. So what has always to be done is together with the student reflect, what did I expect, what did I learn? And then it's not so important to do the training. It's in Austria, different in Sweden, different in France.
Anyone else making a question? Do you want? So everything clear? Okay. So maybe we
would like to end with that whenever or however, you're always welcome to reach out to us and ask how are you doing it? And we can give you the example. Then one thing that we have talked a lot about in the project is having the common denominator, picking the raisins from the cake, because that's what's happening when you join together this many participants. Is that no, it's not one size fits all, because you can do a bit what Spain does, you can do a bit what Germany does, and you can pick the best things that is working in your context. because we have different contexts, we have different laws, we have different regulations, it differs. But we can still use the possibility of each other's success stories and create our own success stories from that.